Thank you. The gentleman from California, Mr. Rohrabacher, is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to get down to some basics here. This is for the whole panel. Who's going to be put out of work because of the changes that you see coming as we do what's necessary to fully understand what you're doing scientifically? Who's going to be put out of work?
I hope very much that nobody's going to be put out of work.
Oh, you got to be kidding. I mean, whenever there's change for the better, otherwise we'd have
Right.
people working and
Right.
buggy whips would still be.
Yeah. I think the point here is to sustain American industry at its most sophisticated and competitive level.
What professions are going to be losing jobs? Anybody can be, everybody's afraid to
okay.
say that? Come on, you know.
I would say they've mostly been lost. I mean, if you look at steel mills, we have
Okay.
steel mills.
Okay,
They used to run with 30,000 people.
right,
That's why the population of Pittsburgh was so large years ago, right?
right.
It's decreased enormously.
Okay, well,
Why?
so where can we expect that in the future from this new technology or this new understanding of technology? Anybody want to tell me?
I have a very
Don't be
quick,
afraid now.
I have a very quick answer. A lot of historically, a lot of science is done on getting relatively cheap labor to produce data and to analyze data. By that I mean graduate students, postdoctoral fellows, young assistant professors, et cetera. I
So
suspect.
they're not going to be needed, probably.
Well, I suspect that they should still be trained, but then perhaps that they won't be used specifically in just laboriously collecting data and analyzing
Okay,
data.
so let's go through that. Where are the new jobs going to be created? What new jobs will be created by the advances that you're advocating and want us to focus some resources on?
I'm hoping that when the people who are trained in science no longer have to do all of that work, they then expand into other fields that could use scientific education, like the legal system or Congress.
But what specifically can we look at, say, that will remind Congressmen always to turn off the ringer, even when it's their wife? Now I'm in big trouble. Okay. Tell me, so what jobs are going to be created? What can we expect from what your research is in the future? Do you have a specific job that you can say, we're going to be able to do this, and thus people will have a job doing it?
Well, I think there will be a lot more jobs in big data and data analysis and things like that, and more interesting jobs, I think, going along with what was already said, that it's really about replacing. So if we replace taxi drivers with self-driving cars, that eliminates a certain class of jobs.
Okay, well, there you go.
Right, but it allows people to then spend their time doing something more interesting, such as perhaps analyzing the future of the transportation system and things like that.
Well, but taxi
Design.
cab driver finally got somebody to admit somebody is going to be hurt and they have to change their life. And let me just note that happens with every bit of progress. Some people are left out and they have to form new type of lifestyles. And we need to understand that. Maybe we need to prepare for it as we move forward. What diseases do you think that, especially when we're talking about controlling things that are going on in the human mind, what diseases do you think that we can bring under control that are out of control now? Diabetes very obviously has something to do with the brain is telling the body what to do. Different, maybe even cancer. What diseases do you think that we can have a chance of curing with this?
I think there's a range of neurological diseases that obviously we'll be able to do a better job curing or ameliorating once we understand the brain. These range from neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's to more mental illnesses, psychiatric illnesses, and to even early developmental diseases like autism. I think all of these will absolutely be benefited by a better.
And if we can control the way the brain is functioning, there are maladies that you are suffering, like I say, diabetes and et cetera, that maybe we can tell the brain not to do that. And once we have that deeper understanding. One last question, I got just a couple seconds. I remember 2001, HAL got out of control. and we've tried to kill these people. And Elon Musk is warning us. I understand somebody's already brought that up. But what if we do end up with very independent-minded robots, which is what I think we're talking about here? Why don't we? Why shouldn't we think of that as a potential danger as well as a potential asset? I mean, Elon Musk is right in that.
Well, I was going to throw in that I think one opportunity would be in healthcare, and for example, the use of robots as assistants. So not replacing people, but having robots help them. Well, those robots have to be programmed, they have to be built. I mean, there's a huge infrastructure that we don't have. So
yeah, but if these guys, if we're building robots that can think independently, who knows? They're helping us in the hospitals or wherever it is. What if HAL gets out of control?
Right. So I think AI has been discussed mostly in the context of how do you do something? How do you make something work? When it comes to what these machines actually do, you also need supervision. And what I think we have to do is to build in AI that addresses control and evaluation, the equivalent of the little guy on your shoulder saying, don't do that, you're going to get into trouble. So you need something like that, which I haven't heard people talk about much.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll yield back.
You've been watching too many Schwarzenegger films.